Today's episode, we're going to talk to Haley Hoffman-Smith as she shares with us how a little bit of planning can go a long way.
So a big point that I drive home in the book is that if you have an idea and you bring it to life and it still fails, it's still worth the journey. It's like that quote about love, like at least you had the love, even if it's love lost or something. But the same thing with ideas. Like I talked with a lot of women who the best experience of their entire life was something that they created, whether it be a company or something else. And like maybe it didn't work out, but it got them to where they are now. So if we have like the playful resilience to play with our ideas and to say like, this is worth pursuing right now until, you know, I feel like I've done enough, and that may mean the rest of my life, or that may mean for the next month, like I still take something from it. And so the idea of like creating ourselves through creating, I completely constructed my self-concept based on everything that I've created. And yeah, that does mean that like I internalized a lot of failure, but then I also bounced back, and now I've taught myself about resilience through what I've created that's even better than what I've created before.
What's one of the secret weapons of today's most successful young people? Turns out, intentionality. Intentionality is that planning, that thoughtfulness about where you actually want to take your activities today and get them to get you to. That's the power of intentionality. On this episode, you'll hear how Haley was able to combine some of her thoughts, her interests, and be very intentional about how she was planning to use her book. And that intentionality has paid off in spades. It's helped her use her book to leverage into a speaking tour, into a regular column, and into operating a venture fund where she's investing in today's hot women-owned startup companies.
One of the things that I remember our early discussions on is I was like pushing you on like, all right, well, what does this book get you? And you're like, well, I have this book idea. And I was like, no. I want to know, where does it take you? And I think it's been interesting to sort of see as you've gone through this journey of the book, that like whereas a little hesitant at first, like I don't know where this takes me, where you sort of like dove in, and it's interesting for me to watch this start out as a book idea to become a platform. And I think that's what I've noticed more than anything, and even when we talked about it, is like her big idea is not a book, it's a platform of workshops, speeches, a fund, all those sorts of things. So like, how did that happen for you over the last like 2 months or so, where it has become this platform?
I think the importance of it was because the only thing that was clear to me was what I wanted to write it on. It's something that I mean, it's like the bedrock of my life. There's nothing I'm more passionate about than women in entrepreneurship and women in venture capital. Sometimes I'm struck, like even when I finished the first excerpt of this, or when I was presenting my thesis, which has all of the same information and research, I can just stop and be like, this matters so much to me. That's at the core of all my work. It's where it begins and it ends. And so the fact that all these other things are coming out of it, like the fund idea, it's just because always in my head and my heart, I'm in this space of like, what can I do to help more women bring big ideas to life? So as long as I fixate on that passion, which is like what gets me up in the morning, I'm sure, you know, more and more opportunities will come out of that. The people that I'm connecting with, I'm learning so much from them. It really fosters my love for entrepreneurship, but there's no way that you can plan like how perfect everything is fitting in for my post-grad plans.
I disagree with you. I think that it's not that you can plan how perfect, it's that though once you think about an outcome, I think what happens is that you apply some level of constraints and you don't make dumb choices. It's not that people like intentionally make dumb choices, it's they make choices in the absence of a longer term trajectory. So my sense to you is that it looks perfect because in some ways you knew where you were going, and when you were making the choices it was obvious to make the choice that would make it look perfect. It's sort of a funny thing to think through, but it's why I think I'm not telling people they need to have like 10-year plans. That's impossible. But I think to have like a 12-month idea of where you want to go, and I think when you and I talked about like, I'd like to have flexibility, I'd like to be able to speak, I'd like to write, I'd like this book, you know, those things, once you have that lifestyle design piece in front of you, I think it allows you to make choices aligned to that I think makes it look perfect. So I just think it was somewhat architected and somewhat because good things happen to people when they put themselves out there, but I do think that you made more of it than you may give yourself credit for.
Thank you. Yeah, I think like the key to living an entrepreneurial life is to not do things the way everyone else is doing it, and to have creativity over how you spend your day and how you spend your time.
I'm glad. I think it's neat for you to be able to have this experience, and in some ways, you know, you built on the back of the first business, the first book, into this next phase of this platform. And a lot of people think, well, you know, someday it'll be perfect, and you just got the first pieces together that, you know, They may not have been perfect, they never are, but they sort of start the platform to build the next and the next and the next.
That's
And
true.
who would have thunk it that you would have your dream job, be able to fund women entrepreneur, you'd have a book, you'd have all these sorts of cool things. You're now like writing places, being interviewed. It's kind of been crazy to watch. I remember when I showed up, you're like, hey, I gotta go proof an article I've been interviewed for by Entrepreneur Magazine. Hold on just a quick second. I was like, what is going on here?
I know, it was really perfect.
Yeah.